America, we are back, baby. Welcome to another episode of America Unfiltered. We got a great show for you guys tonight. A lot of different things to talk about. It's going to be a fun show today. Hope you guys enjoyed the show today. Today, I want to talk about the Candace Owens and Erika Kirk Peace Summit. This is something we've all been waiting for. And again, there's not a ton of real political headlines happening, between Thanksgiving and Christmas. There's rarely shit that happens with the government. It's basically like they just take this fucking time off. I mean, nothing. Yesterday, trending on X was Marjorie Taylor Greene got engaged. Who gives a shit? This seems to be one of the biggest things in politics, but I want to go over the Candace Owens, Erika Kirk feud, and we're going to do a live reaction to Candace Owens' video where she talks about the 4.5-hour conversation that her and Erika Kirk had yesterday. I think it's crazy they talked for 4 hours. I mean, only women would do that. It would take men 2 hours maximum to get that shit done, but that's a topic for another day. Today, I also do want to talk about the Patel, Alexis, Wilkins, the very alleged, I have to say, because this cunt's suing everybody, but the very alleged honeypot, Alexis Wilkins and Patel, in the middle of an investigation, in the middle of this investigation for who shot up Brown. He's on a podcast. He's on a drama podcast talking with his fucking country singer girlfriend. What the fuck is going on in America? Is this country just one big reality show? Is this country going to shit? It really seems like it. So we'll talk about that today. We'll show a quick clip of it. It's what the fuck are we doing here? And then I also want to talk about the potential new suspect in the Brown shooting. There hasn't been one named by the police yet, but people on social media are speculating over who it may be. And it looks like they may have found answers to that. So we'll go over all that today. Like I said, it's going to be a great show, so please remember to smash the follow button, leave a comment, let me know what you think about the show. We'll read all the comments at the end of the show today, and please remember to rate the show 5 stars on Spotify. Like I said, it'll be a fun one, and scan that code up in the corner there. Join our Telegram channel, stay updated on all things America Unfiltered and America First. But with that, I do want to get right into the show. I want to talk about this Candace Owens, Erika Kirk feud. I mean, again, this is fucking insane. It's woman drama. Candace is treating politics like it's Bravo TV. It's a complete fucking clown show. So Candace Owens, immediately following the assassination of Charlie Kirk, said that Israel must have done it. That was her first initial thought. And a lot of people thought that at the time. It wasn't just Candace, but Candace really ran with it. And then after that, it changed to a palm pistol. And then after that, it changed to a guy in a tunnel. And then after that, it was who are these guys in the maroon shirts? And then after that, it was okay, maybe it's Turning Point USA. And then after that, it was the Egyptian planes. And then after that, it was Macron's penis. And then after that, it was maybe Erika Kirk's involved. So Candace has really changed her opinions about this and her theory on it too many times. It's become a grift at this point. And again, I don't have a problem with her just investigating what's happening, but my problem is that she's drip feeding the information while monetizing. If anyone doesn't see a problem with that, you don't understand politics, you don't understand grifting, you don't understand the media at all. I mean, it's a massive problem to say, and you'll find out more tomorrow, and we'll tell you more tomorrow. I know it now today, but I'm not going to tell you tomorrow. Make sure you tune into Candace. That's a fucking problem. That's shit only women would do. Men would never do that. A man would never do that. And if he did, he would be called a pussy. He would be called obscene names, and he would deserve it. Candace is treating this like it's a drama TV series, and it's not. This is real world shit. This is real life, sweetheart. We need you to act like it. We need you to actually be a proactive journalist, not just some grifting bitch. So I think Candace has gone far off the deep end with this one. And again, she's brought up some good points. She's made some decent investigative finds. But at the same time, I don't really think Turning Point USA or Erika Kirk were involved in this murder. I'm very glad that they were able to sit down and discuss this, hopefully get more to the bottom of it. I have no clue what we're about to watch when it comes to this video. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen a clip of it. I've stayed off my phone because I don't want to spoil it. Right now, I think she's in the middle of streaming it, and we are going to start from the beginning. We are going to see exactly what Candace Owens is saying. So this will be a fun show. Hope you guys really do enjoy the show. This is awesome. And we haven't done a live show in a bit. So I'm very glad to be doing a live show again. This isn't a premiere. This is completely live. I mean, it will premiere on some platforms like Spotify and other platforms, but Right now, this is live on multiple platforms, so I'm very excited to be here with you guys. But with that, let's get right into the show. Let me get my headphones in, and we are going to start this Candace Owens video and check out if she's still grifting, if she's backtracked a little bit. In my opinion, I think she is still going to grift, but at the same time, I do think she'll backtrack on some of the things she said. I doubt she'll accuse Erika Kirk. I doubt she'll accuse Turning Point and their employees like she was before. I'm sure a lot of that was put behind them when her and Erika did have these conversations. But again, I'm not sure. And Candace is Candace. I mean, we don't know what the fuck to expect coming out of this woman's mouth. So let's check it out. Let's see. Let's get this set up here. Let me get it pulled up on our big screen.
Okay, everybody, Shabbat Shalom. I just want to say Shabbat Shalom to everybody back at home. Happy Hanukkah to our greatest friends and...
Did she take a payoff? What the fuck? Shabbat Shalom? What the fuck? That's the last thing I expected her to start the show with. What the fuck's going on? Shabbat Shalom, guys. That's crazy.
Allies, and you know, this is a good time to mention that
maybe she's just fucking around.
Itself. Tucker Carlson is Adolf Hitler, and TikTok does need to be purchased by the Mossad. It's just how I'm feeling today. I am not different.
She's fucking
maybe
around.
Different.
She's fucking
Welcome
around.
Back to Candace.
Oh, me and Candace, we got that dance going. What's up, sweetheart? How you doing?
Okay, you guys are crazy. You guys are absolutely crazy. The amount of people who attacked me for sending out a tweet being like, hey, I'm good, I'm alive. We had a very productive conversation. And they were like, she got the call. She got the call. She's betrayed us. She's doing something else. I can't believe it. This has all just been a show. Calm down, okay? What do you think happened? Erika said, stop. And then I was frozen for 4 hours and 30 minutes.
I will say, the amount of you retards who are like, Candace is going to take a payoff. I'm like, first of all, her husband's worth like $100-something million. Second of all, this isn't about the money. This is about her grifting.
Just like, as I just put all of these talking points into my head, that is not what happened. I keep telling you guys, I am not governable. I am basically akin to Kanye West. I never felt more seen than when he tweeted a lot of years ago, just fired my manager because I realized I can't be managed. That is me. That tweet right there, I was like, oh gosh, yes, Kanye, I get this. Okay. Nobody is changing their mind anything. How ridiculous would it have been if I'm doing all of this, investigating, asking all of these questions, and then Erika Kirk offers to answer some of these questions, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to go. I can't betray the people. I don't want any answers to the questions. I just want to ask them. No, this is the entire reason we are doing this. We've been looking at the situation going, why can't Turning Point USA just answer basic questions? And I can tell you guys that yesterday for 4 hours and 30 minutes, there were no rules. They said you can ask us any question that you want, anything that's on your mind, which I appreciated. And some of you guys are thinking, who is they? Who is they? It's the Jews, obviously. Just kidding. It's Justin Strife. Justin Strife was in the room, which is Justin Strife and Eric.
It's the Jews, obviously. Okay, that was kind of funny. I'll give her that. That was funny. It's the Jews, obviously.
George joined me just for the beginning portion of the conversation because he had that thing going on that I told you on the 15th all day. He was in a conference. And then I brought my cousin Mia, you know, the one that has a really bad attitude. I just bring her there for vibes. I think it just confuses people. They're like, I don't understand what's this person doing
vibes.
The reality is she's like always just listening to Cardi B music. But she's my cousin and I always have her around. And so that was it. She was kind of sitting a little bit away, but at the table it was really just the four of us until George left. And I will be honest, I did not know what to expect going into the room. I did not know if they were going to be open. I didn't know what Erika's energy was going to be like, if it was going to be more of an argument, if there was going to be legal threats. You guys were telling me not to drink water, so I didn't drink water. Well, I brought my own water, but I didn't drink that water too. It was a lot. There's a lot going on, okay? And the conversation started with Justin Strife very sensibly saying, what are we looking to accomplish here? Like, what is the actual aim of this conversation?
Thank God they had a couple men in the room. I mean, without a couple men in the room, this conversation probably would have lasted 12 hours. 4.5 is already absurd. I'd imagine if it was just the men in the room, it would have been like 2 hours max, maybe an hour 30 with a piss break. But I mean, thank God that there was men in the room to speed this shit up, because we know it would have gone all fucking night last night without them.
And he was pretty clear, and Erika was very clear, that they were sort of most upset with what obviously a bit of a fever pitch, what I tweeted, that it was a godforsaken company and people should not give money to it. And I have to own that. That's aggressive. That is actually aggressive in the retrospect. I was very frustrated. And I don't know, I felt like we weren't getting any answers and there were so many lies. And then I was getting attacked for asking all meaningful questions that was within their capacity to answer. And I told you, I definitely, my problem in life is that I can rise to anger very quickly. I shared with them that I really felt like I was under attack for telling the truth from the very beginning, like casually when I mentioned the Catholicism thing. Like, what was that about? I was like, look, I say something in a tribute to him. Alex Clark and Andrew Colvett then jump onto a podcast and they're doing that weird interview, which is clearly aimed at me. And they've teased the interview. It's like aimed at me, but they never say my name. And that to me felt like it was the first, the first bit of mud that was slung, which their answer for that was, hey, that was a really crazy time. A new system had to be put into place. And by no means did Erika give any person the authority to go out and say that the Catholicism thing was a lie. It kind of turned into this big thing. Whatever. Okay, that kind of obviously was not the meat of the reason that we wanted to sit down. I will say I was immediately refreshed by the fact that one of the first things that Erika did was she owned the lies, or rather, I guess they would cage it as miscommunications that were coming from various people at the company. Like, look, this is a company with 650 people that are employed. Everybody at this time is exceedingly emotional and they are communicating. And no matter what somebody says on Twitter, they assume that this communication has come down from management, and that's not always a circumstance. But they owned right away, which felt great, that if you guys recall, Erika sat down with Glenn Beck. I actually missed this portion because I didn't get to watch the interview in its entirety, and we were pulling clips because a lot was coming out very quickly. But there was a portion that was going around that was viral, and it was Erika saying that she had Charlie's phone and that Charlie never texted anybody the night before saying that he thought that they were going to kill him. And that obviously reflected poorly on me because I was the one who said that he did, in fact, text multiple people the night before. And then I went on Jimmy Dore on Friday, Jimmy Dore show, and I clarified. I said, Andrew Colvett told me specifically that he was one of the people that received this text message. So I got that first person. I didn't get that from a source. I got that directly from Andrew Colvett. And then somebody who had access to Dan Flood's communications said that Dan Flood similarly received a text message. They owned that right away and explained. Erika said that she has Charlie's phone. She's looking at his iMessages. And it turns out that he, like everybody else, communicates on Signal. He communicates on Telegram. And that when she heard me say that, they then went and looked, and yes, that what I said was true. Andrew Colvett received a message the night before, and Dan Flood received a message the night before. Now, they asked me if I had actually like a concrete copy of what Dan Flood got the night before, and I said no. Somebody told me what it said, which was almost exactly what Andrew said, which is they're going to kill me. Andrew did not know who they were, the they that he was referring to were, but they clarified that the message that Dan Flood received said the left is going to kill me. So I can't confirm that one way or the other. I have to trust them on that because I did not see that concrete message. I was told that it said they. Now, obviously, we discussed the moment, and I'm laughing here because you TikTokers are actually out of control. You guys are going to be the reason that Israel gets TikTok because you guys are acting a fool all the time. And the videos were so hilarious of you guys mocking the Barry Weiss interview. It's great. It's good to laugh at ourselves. And Barry Weiss is always worth laughing at. But I was sort of like, hey, I felt name checked by the podcaster, Candace Owens, this obvious setup, and then asking me to stop. And it's interesting to hear Erika say that the reason she didn't ask me to stop in the beginning because she was actually learning things from the show. She was actually learning things. And that I think she similarly felt that Barry Weiss was trying to create a moment. Obviously, it's who Barry Weiss is. It's the Zionist lobby. She's trying to right perceived wrongs because I'm against her side. That does not surprise me. That's kind of why Barry Weiss exists. That's the reason they put her at CBS, is because she's just committed to stacking the audience with people that are going to present the pro-Israel cause and talk about anti-Semitism and talk about like crime being on the rise. It's kind of an embarrassment, but I actually do accept that. And I should also clarify that Barry Weiss obviously picked those questions. They were not random, like I told you. It wasn't like people were coming to the mic and it was an open mic and they didn't know what they were going to get. It was all very much planned by Barry. But Erika said that she knew the general idea, like they were going to mention me and mention the conspiracies, but she was not given that specific, the podcaster, Candace Owens, question. So I think that's fair to clear that up. Now, I did not at all recant any of my suspicions, and I understand people disagree with me about particular people at Turning Point USA. I communicated what I communicated in front of the whole world. My skin crawled after I spoke to Terrell Farnsworth, the person who took the cameras down. He lied to me several times. I explained to them, which felt good to have that direct communication, how Terrell lied multiple times and that I did not understand why he was there that day. They echoed what he said. They defended what he said, that they were trying something new that day, that they typically live stream, which is what Terrell said. They typically live stream, and I said every college event. Well, they said, well, yeah, they live stream the events that are tour stops, but they don't live stream like the outside prove me wrong type events. And that was something that was new, and it required Terrell. And I said, even if that was all real, if that was all true, I still didn't feel good about the conversation that I had with Terrell, and I can't ignore my gut about the many little lies that he told. I thought the video he recorded was weird. I know he comes from a very powerful family. I personally do not trust him. And I obviously do not like the fact that I said, Tyler Boyer lied about this thing and came up with an excuse and said, well, Terrell was asked to take the camera down. That's the reason, he said on Twitter, because the police wanted him to take it down and secure the footage. And I said, I know that's not true. And they said, well, after all of that, yeah, after he took the cameras down, there was a police officer or Fed, whoever it was, that spoke to him and asked him to secure the footage. Well, that makes sense, but it's not a reason for why he took it down immediately. It makes sense that as you're investigating, you're going to say, who's got the footage? Let's lock it down. But it didn't make sense to me that Tyler Boyer lied about it. And I don't trust Tyler Boyer. And that is never going to change. Similarly with Rob McCoy, he makes my skin crawl. I can't explain it. I look at him and he's a bad person, and nobody can make me feel one way or the other about that. I was surprised to learn, and this is kind of gets into, I guess, us not knowing the inner workings at Turning Point USA, that Rob McCoy actually does not work with Turning Point USA in any capacity whatsoever. And so him communicating as he has done, like, I'm the pastor, I'm this, I'm that, it's just not real. Like, that is not real. And we should know that that's not real. And when he says that, call him out on that separately from Turning Point USA. I was operating under the assumption that he worked for Turning Point USA. And I said, if obviously that's wrong, I'm happy to correct that. But also, what were we to assume when he hit the stage at the memorial and said, I'm America's pastor, and then had the Wikipedia updated and said, well, I'm assuming he had it updated because who else would do that he started Turning Point USA Faith. So I guess, to be clear, we were just wrong about that. And I will have a lot more to say about Rob McCoy and where I believe he fits into a lot.
Like, just like a woman. Like, get to the fucking point. Like, I get what you're doing. You're explaining a little bit of backstory. But people want to know about the accusations you directly made about the big people at Turning Point USA and Erika herself. Get to the fucking point, Candace. Holy shit.
Of things, so I'm not letting up on that. Now, one piece of this where I still don't understand it, and the magic bullet. Okay, now we all recall what happened. I casually say on the show, hey, I saw the footage, there was no blood. And honestly, when I said it, I didn't process how big of a deal that was with the 30-06. Very quickly, what happens is Andrew Colvett whips up this tweet about what happened with the bullet, and he said he wanted to address all of the discussion that was being had about the online chatter. I'm obviously paraphrasing here. He says, I apologize, it's going to get graphic, but he spoke with the surgeon. The bullet should have gone through. The surgeon then explained that what he's typically seen on these wounds, and basically this was all a miracle. Charlie saved lives, even in death. And the internet clocked it, this miracle, the healthy bone. His bone was so healthy, and the density was so impressive. Like, this is a quote, by the way. His bone was so healthy. I want to read it. This is allegedly from a surgeon. Quote, his bone was so healthy and the density was so impressive that he's like the man of steel. It should have gone through and through. It likely would have killed those standing behind him too. And we were just like, eeh. That kind of was like the beginning of the WTF, right? I feel like that was kind of the beginning of it. And immediately people in the comments responded to Andrew, and this individual said, this post is so fake as it would violate HIPAA. Like, there's patient privacy. You can't just call up the surgeon. And then Andrew Colvett replies and says, rest assured, I would not have posted without full permission. Now, he said he spoke to the surgeon, and they confirmed that Andrew spoke to the surgeon, but that they did not know that he was going to write that tweet. They did not know that he called up the surgeon. So, like, it very much came across to be like Andrew was just flying by the seat of his pants. I don't know. Like, he was just flying dark on it. And I was like, that seems very strange to me, because why would a surgeon do that? Like, the first thing the surgeon should say is, I can't speak to you. I don't even know, in theory, Andrew wasn't even there when Charlie died. I don't even know why the surgeon even knows this guy, actually. Maybe he hung around after, but, Andrew was not one of the people that got into the hospital or anything like that. So this is quite literally the PR guy who's calling the surgeon. And so that just seems very inappropriate for a person to do, period. And I would say it was kind of the beginning, but that was what I got from that. Now, obviously, we discussed the security. I brought up Brian Harpole, this interview with Sean Ryan, and I think we can believe Turning Point when they say that they did not approve of this. They had no idea he was going on. That's pretty clear.
Why did it freeze on the main screen here? What the fuck? Hopefully it hasn't been frozen for a while. Give me a sec. Let me fix that. It's fucking annoying. One sec. I don't know why the fuck this happens. Alright, I'm getting it pulled up right here.
In 4 seconds, okay? Things that, the biggest piece of this that I want to communicate, and that I did communicate to them, and I hope that they took me seriously on this, or rather that they take my strong advice on this. I said, one of the reasons why I really want to sit down is because I want to walk out of here and feel confident saying to my audience, hey, like, there's stuff going on behind the scenes, but Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk. Like that, more will come out, but you can take it from me that this is what happened. I was looking to achieve that because there's been a lot of signaling from various people, some people who are experts, some people who have been involved in cases, that there's obviously going to be stuff that the public does not have access to. And so it is at least plausible that they have seen very clear footage that we've been asking for of Tyler Robinson getting up there and taking the shot. Like, they have access to UVU cameras. So I was hoping to hear that. And I said that I want to hear why people feel so confident at Turning Point USA that Tyler Robinson is the guy. And at this point, they elected to call the lawyer, like, you know, their lawyer who is involved in this case, one of the lawyers that's involved in this case. There's always a team of lawyers, especially for something like this. And what I got from the lawyer did not make me feel that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk. It did not make me feel confident that he didn't or did shoot Charlie Kirk. I was very surprised by this. He spoke a very long time. I asked, you know, can you share with me what it is? And I said, when you share this with me, I will not say what that thing is. If that's what if we want to protect the integrity of the case, I'm not going to, if you say, we've got the footage of him taking the shot, I promise I won't say that to the audience, but I will communicate to them that you have something that is solid. And no, to the exact contrary, this guy effectively said, not effectively, he said that they have nothing but the affidavit. Okay, so what we have seen is what they have. What is being discussed publicly, you are this whole like non-expert problem with like, well, you don't know. It's like what you read, his messages that don't have any dates on it, Tyler Robinson writing out everything and the clean alibi. That's what they have. And what he explained to me was that that's the affidavit stage. That's where it's at. And then what takes place now is the investigation is ongoing, right? So right now they're looking for more information. And once investigators, they could very well have obviously footage, and that is why they might feel that, oh, we're definitely gonna get this prosecution. But the reality is they don't actually share that information with the victim. They don't share that information with Erika. They don't, in this part of the process, they will not know what investigators have discovered. This is what the lawyer told me until May. Okay. They have not seen anything that you have not seen, is what I want you to know. So with that in mind, I'm sitting here going, why are you signaling? Why do I feel like the public's being gaslit on this? There's been nothing that's convincing. There are so many commentators who have gone out and said to you, it's overwhelming. The evidence is overwhelming. The text messages that don't have a date, that don't even sound real, that's overwhelming. That to me feels really fake and gay. I really do want to say that to every commentator that is out there trying to tell the public and insisting that if you say it enough times to become real, you're actually just being dishonest. And I offered that a more honest way to communicate would be to say, we think he's involved. We feel strongly. I've said that. I think he's involved. We are very hopeful that throughout this investigation, we are going to get that concrete thing. And that's where we're at right now. That's just the stage that we are at.
Was him turning himself in and his prints being on the rifle, was that not enough to think he's involved? Like, I don't fucking get it. Like, what do you mean? They have the affidavit, they have him turning himself in, they have him admitting it. The thing I'll give her, like the text messages, those are a little odd. I feel like there might have been some fabrication there. But I don't think that was to frame Tyler. I think that was to protect other people. But what the fuck is she getting at here? Again, like, get to the fucking point, Candace.
That is not what we're getting from them. That is, like, I just feel like that's really important. I just let you guys know, let the gaslighting stop. They have what you have, okay? There is nothing else. They are in an investigative stage. Erika has been named as the victim. They will know more in this May hearing, which is the probable cause hearing. That's what the lawyer told me, it's probable cause hearing. And that's when they will see the evidence. That's when they get to present the evidence, why they are going to stand there before a judge and be like, yes, we need to move this forward. It's not just an affidavit. We're not pulling together scraps. We have concrete evidence. Until then, Okay, until we all get on the same page and understand what else they have, I am very confident stating the opposite of all of my, I guess, well-paid peers in that I don't believe that Tyler Robinson pulled the trigger. And what I also said to them was, and I said this in front of the lawyer.
And I'll say this again, because now she's publicly saying it, because I had people in the comments who were like, she never said it wasn't Tyler. She just did. So why isn't she funding his legal defense? Why is Candace not fundraising for his legal defense or digging into her husband's $200 million net worth to fund this kid's legal defense? If she's so sure he's innocent, and she seems pretty sure of it, why is she not funding the legal defense? It's just very hypocritical.
Because I don't know why I'm like this. I was like, you might need a new lawyer. I was like, because this person's trying to sell to you that this is solid. One of the rules that me and my husband have is that if you have a lawyer that tells you like you're 100% going to win, it's very clear that you're going to win, you need a new lawyer. Okay, that's a cheerleader. That's not a lawyer. A lawyer, even if you should 100% win, should be telling you the risks here. You know, I feel good about this case. Like, let me talk real to you. I feel good about this case, but here's where things could go wrong. I want you to understand those risks that are involved. We don't have this yet. We don't have that yet. And especially given what I told them, which is I'm the only, your lawyers, or the investigators rather, not their lawyers, because they're not the ones investigating. It's the state of Utah that's investigating. They have not called the one solitary person, as I told you guys, who filmed as he was on the roof. Remember the guy that's like, oh, there's somebody on the roof, and he sees him crouched down. I said, I spoke to that person, and his testimony would be devastating to your prosecution. He saw the person on the roof. He filmed the person on the roof at 12:23 p.m. and he did not see that person take the shot. And this is not some random student. This is a guy who trains people to shoot guns at a range. He knows guns, okay? He said what he saw was a smaller gun. He said that this person was dressed in black tactical gear and there was no recoil. That's devastating. That would be devastating to the prosecution. And yet, investigators haven't reached out. Now, they offered back, well, maybe they haven't reached out because they have an even clearer video. And that's true. That's actually a good rebuttal. They're like, we don't even have to talk to this guy because the video will speak for itself, and we saw what we saw. Okay, but wouldn't you still want to speak to the other guy so you could prepare? I don't know, to question him something. I don't like that this investigation is going on, and I feel as though I spoke to more people than they have. Both of the people who filmed videos that day told me that they weren't reached out to. So I don't understand what's happening here. I don't understand the confidence, I guess, is the best way to say this. I told them I do not understand the confidence that is happening. Now, another really big thing that happened was they brought me Mikey's call logs, okay? They brought me Mikey's call logs, and that is why I said this was a productive meeting. There is no other way to say it. I asked every question, and they came with paperwork to show and to answer and to explain certain things. Also, which was, I thought, actually kind of sweet, that I guess I did on the previous show. I was like kind of looking at things into Mikey, and I couldn't find him. And someone said, I think Mikey's not his like real name. Like they thought it was his middle name, actually. And I just assumed, okay, well, maybe he's using his middle name and that's why I can't find him. But Mikey really wants you guys to know that is his real name. And it is his real name. I found out shortly thereafter that they were confusing his middle name with, they thought it was switched. Michael is his real name, just to clarify that. Because I realized I actually didn't go back and clarify that.
Breaking.
But Mikey's call logs, big piece of this, okay? I'm going to, I guess, jog your memory on what Blake said about Mikey that day, and then I'll tell you what actually happened, because I don't think Blake has that great of a memory. Okay, take a listen.
So I was not with Mikey, or I don't remember being with him. I think I was ahead of him as we left. And then we get out, and I run for, can't have been more than 15 or 20 seconds. And then I realize there hasn't been another shot, so the shooter has likely been detained or stopped or something, not in immediate danger. I pause, I look around me, and I see Mikey. And I see Mikey there. And I will never forget what I saw, because I've seen Mikey almost every day for the past 2 years. I know his personality very well. He's a very bubbly guy. He's a very happy guy almost all of the time. And I'll never forget what I saw, because it was clear in the moment that he was profoundly freaked out. What I'll always remember is the way his lip was quivering, which I'd never seen before. And you very rarely see from someone that he was freaking out. And then I think he literally said to me, I might be imagining this, but I think what he literally said was, he was looking around, and then he says, I need to call Erika. And then he takes his phone, and he begins calling Erika. And I don't want to disclose how that call unfolded, but he did that. Your mind extends all of this, but that is happening within a minute of all of this occurring. I remember he calls Erika. Around the same time, I pull out my phone and I call my mom just to say, Mom, there's been a shooting. You're going to see it on the news. I'm okay. Pray for me. I've got to go. And I remember that call. And around the time I put that phone away, and then he immediately calls his dad. He calls Rob McCoy, and he says, Dad, someone shot Charlie. You need to call all of your pastor friends. Charlie was hit. We need everyone to pray right now. And that's what he told him.
Okay, so that's just not right. And so when he says, I might be imagining this, for I'll never forget, followed by I might be imagining this, probably means that maybe you forgot and like you really could be imagining. Now, for me personally, I think the normal physiological response in these high adrenaline situations for most people is you lock in. They're literally your body, when it goes through something, when it's terrified and is going through, like, sort of like you are really paying attention to details. We've learned about this many times over in health class growing up. This is why they talk about that fight or flight response, and quite literally there's stuff happening to your body. And so there's a lot of details here that are just not accurate. And the one that surprised me the most about these call logs is I certainly feel that we were given the impression over and over and over again that the first person Mikey called was Erika, right? He called Erika. We were told this by many people also, that he trained, like he almost like went to a camp and trained, and Charlie was like, 1, 2, 3, go, and like fast, 1, 2, 3, go. Go. That's why he walked away. 1, 2, 3, go. And just told him, this is what the first thing you do is. Well, he didn't do that. Actually, the first person he called was his wife. He called Elizabeth McCoy. And then he stayed on the phone with his wife for 10 minutes. And during those 10 minutes, he three-wayed Erika 3 minutes after the shot went off. And then he three-ways his father. And then he three-ways a third person who
Pause this for a sec. Danny McCoy calls Mikey McCoy. Charlie Kirk shot. Charlie brought to SUV. Mikey McCoy calls his mom for 10 minutes. Blake Neff calls his mother 45 seconds. Blake Neff phone call with his mom ends. Mikey McCoy adds Erika to the call. Mikey McCoy drops Erika from the phone call. Mikey McCoy then adds his father, Rob, to the phone call with him and Elizabeth. Mikey McCoy ends his phone call with Rob McCoy. Mikey McCoy ends his phone call with Elizabeth McCoy. Danny McCoy calls Mike McCoy again. They will stay on the phone for another 10 minutes.
I'm not interested in mentioning because it's not relevant. This is Danny McCoy, by the way, is his brother that's in the military, but that's before the shot goes off. Charlie Kirk shot goes off. I have that in detail. Charlie's brought to security. Mikey McCoy calls his wife. They will stay on the phone for 10 minutes. Okay. In that same minute, because we know this, because Blake Neff has given us his call log to his mother. Blake Neff called his mom. His call with his mother lasted 45 seconds. So we're assuming it went to 12:25. It very well could have stayed in 12:24, depending on the millisecond. Blake Neff ends that phone call with his mother. Mikey McCoy, after the phone call with his mother ends, adds Erika to the phone. Okay, so that when he was recapping and he's like, oh, his lips quivering and he's like, I got to call Erika. And he's like, and then I called my mom. That's not right. That's just not right. Okay, Mikey called Erika after Blake Neff ended that phone call with his mother. If call logs are to be believed above, human testimony.
The fuck does this prove? That the guy misremembered the order of when he called Erika and his mom? Like, who gives a shit? That's stupid details.
Mikey McCoy then drops Erika from the phone call 2 minutes later, and then he adds his father to the phone call. Again, he is this entire time on the phone with his wife, okay? And then Mikey McCoy ends his phone call with his father. He does call another person who I'm not mentioning because it's just not relevant to anything, not a character in the story, rather. And then he ends the phone call with his wife, and a minute later, his brother calls him back, and they stay on the phone for 10 minutes. I did not get this from everybody speaking about this Mikey McCoy call log. I know that you guys did not get this. I did not get this. I don't know why she was disappeared from this. Like, you could go, like, the wife wants privacy. No, she was like, main stage at the memorial, has been, I would say, very involved in a lot of this kind of, I think it's very close that she's close with Erika. They went on vacation together. So I don't get this disappearing act. I found that to be like, okay, but they were forthcoming with it. That feels good. That feels good, guys. Like, wow, we don't have to guess. Now we have solid answers. And like I said, when you come out and give solid answers and you're not weird and calling people names and saying all this stuff, it allows people to go, okay, I feel a bit more like we can trust this process because we have communication. That's the reality. And so I wanted to.
A man really should have taken up this investigation. Even if Candace did herself, a man really should have, because a man would have just called Turning Point USA and been like, hey, let's sit down 3 months ago. But no. They decided to wait till December 15th, over 3 months after Charlie was shot, to finally sit down together. A man just, again, this is why this exhibit, I don't know, God knows what, why women should not be involved in politics.
To update you with that. Also, another thing that really, I think, surprised them and I think surprised me is getting back to this Hamptons retreat. The thing about the Hamptons retreat, and I communicated this with them, that makes me so uncomfortable is how many little lies were told. I think I've been clear about that. Like, Seth Dillon definitively pressed Charlie at this event Now, whether it was in a hypothetical, which it was in a hypothetical, but he got fired up in the hypothetical of Charlie discussing potentially tweeting something against Bibi Netanyahu, it did lead to this firecracker moment. Again, this is one of those things where I go, why am I always being held out to dry, hung out to dry for telling people the truth? Especially when I wasn't going, oh, well, Seth Dillon killed Charlie Kirk. I just, this happened. It factually happened. And yet everybody's kind of putting out these weird statements and they're not being honest in them. And I was saying that that made me feel really weird. And I would love to know more about this Bibi Netanyahu offer to fund Turning Point to the next level. At which point Erika said she was not aware of that happening. It is obviously totally possible that that was kept in the business lane of Turning Point USA. But I'm certain, I said, I am absolutely certain that I did not get this from an obscure source, that Bibi offered to fund Turning Point to the next level. And it was part of my frustration with that sit down with Alex Clark, where Andrew said, oh, there was not $150 million that's made up. I told them, Andrew Kovac was my source. Andrew Kovac told me verbatim that Bibi Netanyahu offered to take Turning Point to the next level and that Charlie turned that money down. So I said, there's a bit of a predicament when I'm being lambasted by all of these voices and people that are attacking me and these paid campaigns. And when I say paid, yes, okay, actually have the names of people. Different ways they're being paid. Some are being paid by PR firms. Too many are being paid by Prager University, which is upsetting to me because I know Marissa and it's just dirty. But it's especially crazy when people are calling it a conspiracy when I share things that are told to me from the spokesperson of Turning Point USA. Okay, that's weird. And yes, they were forthcoming. Nobody's ever denied this, so this was not on our list of lies about the fact that Bibi Netanyahu did call him. Okay, that did happen. Bibi shared that, by the way. Our source for that could have just as well been Bibi Netanyahu. And not a lot of clarity on, I don't know, why some people think he didn't make this offer and why definitively 3 different sources who would have knowledge of this confirmed to me that Bibi Netanyahu did indeed make this offer. I never said $150 million ever, not once on the show. I wouldn't have even said that, by the way. If you said take Turning Point to the next level, I actually would have assumed it was more, if I'm being honest. That's a hefty offer, and it leads to a lot of questions. So there was not a lot of clarity there. Lastly, I want to add, of course, I was locked in this meeting when people online were another round of debunking the Egyptian planes. I want to be very clear. We discussed the Egyptian planes, and I have since worked on an incredible document about the Egyptian planes, which we are going to put up on our website, because I realized that when we shared that spreadsheet, people assumed that one of the columns, which was actually saying where the planes landed on that day, because it was plus or minus 3 days, was exactly where Erika had been on that day, and that was inaccurate. And so for clarity, I had been working on the last week on turning it into an interactive timeline that we can put up on our website, because I'm certain that these Egyptian planes are incredibly shady and that they were in fact tracking Turning Point USA faith broader events. Of course, Erika was at some of them, Charlie was at some of them, but it is the pattern here is undeniable. So let the naysayers and people make videos trying to, 5th round debunk these planes. I also want to say to you that I feel very confident that I know why these planes have caused such panic, and it is because there is overwhelming evidence that these planes regularly fly in and out of Israel. And I'm going to present that evidence tomorrow. I say that strongly. This is
That's the grift I'm talking about. And for people who are like, no, she doesn't do that. If you have the information today, give it to us today, sweetheart. Again, this is called grifting. This is not Bravo TV. This isn't a fucking drama show. This is politics. This is real life. Wake the fuck up, give the information you have, and people will criticize you less. Most of the shit I give Candace is because of this right here. I keep repeating it. I constantly fucking repeat it. This woman cannot say, and tomorrow you'll find it. No, bitch, you know the information now. You know the fucking information now. Does George have to smack you? Does someone have to smack you? Fucking give us the information. Stop being a bitch. It's that fucking easy. Holy shit. It's so infuriating to deal with fucking women in politics and women in general because of this bullshit. Again, you have the fucking information. Just give us the information if you have it. It's just retarded. Or just don't even tell us about it and then tell us about it tomorrow. And we wouldn't call you grifters because we wouldn't have something to say you're grifting. But now you're like, oh, I have this information, but you're going to get it tomorrow. It's like, bitch. Bitch. Like, George, you need to fucking slap her like a hoe. You need to come in, put your fucking rings on, and just fucking one time set your wife straight, please. George Farmer, if you can hear me.
I feel very confident saying the Egyptian planes are flying out. And notice I'm saying planes because once I was able to connect people that were on those planes onto other Egyptian planes, I was able to realize that these planes are flying in and out of Israel. and turning their transponder off each time that they do it. That is now makes perfect sense of why there was this mass panic, right? It's not exactly like we have a strong Egyptian lobby in the United States. Now we're like, whoa, well, those darn Egyptians again are trying to get TikTok censored. I mean, every person in the game, Barry, acting. Well, these are the usual suspects that act if something is a threat to Israel, okay? Which is, they should have just been forthcoming, pretended that it was changing apart. Instead, they're trying to gaslight us, and they're actually, frankly, just pissing me off. So I became locked in on these Egyptian planes because that's how I am, okay? You keep pushing me and keep pushing me, I will become an expert on these planes. I'll learn how to build an Egyptian plane. And the reality is, like I said, tomorrow I will show you how these planes tie back to Israel. And there's no disproving this. So more on that later. We'll be right back after throwing into some of our sponsors.
All right, we're going to fucking skip her sponsors because I don't give a shit about her sponsors. You're grifting enough, Candace. We don't need to fucking watch your fucking shitty ads. Ugh. I'm trying not to, like, talk over the show a lot, too. Like, I'm trying to just hear her out and give her a fair hearing on this, because I've been very critical of Candace, as a lot of you guys know. I've been very critical of this. Again, I support her right to investigate it, but it doesn't mean I have to think all the things she finds are credible, necessarily. Some of them are, but most of it's not. But over everything, the thing that pisses me off the most, and I've stayed consistent about this, anyone can go back and watch my old shows and see, I've just consistently said, stop fucking grifting. Stop saying, and you'll find out more tomorrow. Stop with that bullshit. Unless you need the whole night to investigate it, you can clarify that, but you never say that. You're always like, I have the information, but I'll give it to you tomorrow. Like, no. It's so fucking stupid.
Things I want to say. First and foremost, I just got a live update that I thought it was Danny McCoy on the call log. I should totally correct that, and I will correct that, and we'll be sure to trim it in post here, but it is not Danny McCoy. It is Danny, another one of Charlie's assistants. So I will correct that. Please correct that if you're going to make videos. Not Danny McCoy, that called him and then called him after. That is not Danny McCoy. Charlie's. So we want to be accurate. I don't know why I assumed it was Danny McCoy in my head. I may have done that. Okay, another thing. You guys may have been noticing that we are getting into this weird space where they seem to be almost writing like Candace Owens fan fiction. I can't even reply to things, and a lot of you sense that this was because we were getting close. I agree. I fully agree that these attacks, which have grown hysterical, like I can't even begin to tell you the conversations between me and my PR person. I'm like, there's nothing to respond to. I mean, there's not even one sentence of this that is true. Case in point, by the way, New York Post does this article today. We were actually laughing, okay? Like, inside Candace Owens' sadistic and dangerous world, monetizing baseless conspiracies. This is after, by the way, they changed my husband's Wikipedia. Instead that he was a Qatari, like he had a Qatari passport or citizenship. I don't think my husband's ever even flown over Qatar. I could be wrong, but I know he's never been to Qatar. I don't think he's ever flown over Qatar. And they're just making it up, and then they make it trend no matter what it is. And I'm like, this is happening. It's like a psychological operation because they're trying to keep us constantly responding as opposed to focusing on our investigation, which is why I spent this weekend and I just kept down on the Egyptian planes because it's completely crazy. And when you see a media storm like this, it can only be happening because Zionists are locking arms and going attack because they by and large control the media. They just do. Okay, one way or the other, Zionists control the empire medias, and they are scared about something in this investigation. We've noticed that from the very beginning. So they wrote in this article, the New York Post, just to give you an example of how insane this is. They said they had an inside source that told them that while I was at the Daily Wire, I just fought with people from the very source that in my first week, I threw my car keys at a producer and expected them to park my car. That sentence genuinely made me laugh so hard because I never once in the entire time that I worked for the Daily Wire did I ever drive my car to work. Okay? I just didn't.
I don't know why I'm picturing this scene from the movie Straight Outta Compton, where Suge Knight beats the shit out of the guy and then throws his car keys. He's like, and park my fucking car. I could imagine Candace doing that. That's funny.
They had a driver that took me there. So I don't know why I would suddenly take the driver's keys and then throw it at somebody, but quite literally, I never drove the Daily Wire. So it's just when I say fan fiction, I'm like, this is fan fiction. Secondly, they say I did that to a producer and that I demanded others do my research. Could not be further from the truth. I have always done my own shows. I can't read a script. I riff my shows. I think that's pretty obvious. That I demanded a huge studio, attempted to use their PR firm to get the cover of People magazine, like full fan fiction. There's not even a shred. I don't even think we ever had a conversation about People magazine because that would not be a normal outlet. for any conservatives, that I wanted to be on the cover of People is insane. And they said that their sources also said that, like, my team hated me. My team came with me when I got fired. My whole team's here. So I was just going, okay, what is happening here? Why are we talking about Qatar? Why are they making these things up? And I have come to the same conclusion as you. It is because we are dangerously close to something. I think we have to keep pushing on the Huachuca Air Base, which we are doing. And tomorrow we are going to get back into the investigation. We're just going to ignore the noise because, as I've said and as I have maintained, I believe that Charlie was betrayed by people that are close to him. And I asked that question in the meeting. I'm like, okay, if we can agree that everyone around, I was like, I know there are people at Turning Point, they're not good people, right? And it's feasible that people, if they have addictions, that they, you can definitively get yourself in a scenario where you are willing to sell somebody out. This is a massive organization. How can we so confidently state that nobody had anything to do here, to do with anything here? And I think that one of the things that Erika was like, well, I'm not like a feminist, and I didn't want the vibe of that, which I think it did come across like a bit of a feminist, to say like, this is all my family. I'm like, how could this all be your family? I know people in this family, and they're not good people. I wouldn't even do that with my own family, okay? I got people in my family, like we all do, who aren't exactly walking a straight arrow in life. And yeah, so I've communicated that. I have not changed my position on that. I am not going to stop researching the characters in this that I don't feel good about. But further to sort of them just creating and making things up, Tim Pool has now gone out and extraordinarily claimed that I have the same security as Charlie Kirk, and that I'm a fraud, and that actually I have the exact same security. You will recall that Tim just said a week ago that I have no security. Okay, this is Tim Pool a week ago.
She is burning everything down, and she's gloating and smiling while she does it. And you know what you told me? She has no security. She doesn't deal with the we have to deal with. She's a piece of
She has security, just not on the level of you.
Oh, yeah, the one fat guy you mentioned with no wall and no barrier in a suburban neighborhood with neighbors. She doesn't give two no one's out for her. She's lying about all of this. You told me you went to her house and she's got a 4-foot wall and one fat guy, and she doesn't give a about her security.
So that was like Tim last Monday. This is Tim who said I had.
I mean, he was crashing out a bit. I'm not saying what Tim said today was correct. I don't fucking know anything about Candace's security versus what Tim Pool thinks. I saw the tweet exchange, but it's like he was crashing out. Who gives a shit? Like, just let it go.
No security except for one fat guy, which I told you was not true. Now he's saying this. Take a listen.
Okay, I'll say things that I probably shouldn't say, but I'm going to say I always get super heated on this. Candace Owens has the same security team as Turning Point and Charlie Kirk did. She's lying. She has the same security people. I've been digging into this. I've been meeting with people and talking with them. And I shouldn't say too much because there's more that's going to be coming out soon. Because rest assured, people are filing legal paperwork against her. Candace has the same security team, or has used the same security companies and the same security personnel as Charlie and Erika did. So when she comes out and is questioning them, she is lying outright. Now, I've invited many of these people to come on. We'll see what happens. We'll see when they can. The issue is, the moment Candace goes on her show to millions of people and lies, litigation begins. And what happens when litigation begins? People don't do interviews about it. She is exploiting this, and she knows she is, to keep people wrapped up in this insanity.
Tim versus Tim, undefeated. And what I will also say is that's all a lie. It's almost like they have just sent a call, like they're getting too close, and just said, I don't care what you write. I don't care if it's complete fiction. Make it believable. Say her husband beats her. Say her, like, it's coming after my husband. They're coming after me, and they're making stuff up. I have never employed the same security team as Charlie Kirk, ever. We went our separate ways early. Actually, there was, like, it's obviously been publicized before he had Schaefer Security. And Schaefer Security, which was run by Greg Schaefer, who has issued a public statement, they had Dan Flood and Brian Harpool working for them initially. I told Charlie I did not like the security apparatus. I got my own security separate from Charlie from the very beginning, okay? That's a fact. It just is a fact. There's no way to undo that fact. Trying to do this strategy of you're going to get sued is just threatening somebody. If there was any truth to that, you can't just file legal paperwork. You have to send a cease and desist. You have to say, something you said on your show was untrue. Can you please correct this? Okay? And if I ignore that, as I did with Brigitte, because I told the truth, as I did with Kim Clasey, because I told the truth, then you have the grounds to file something. We have received no cease and desist from Charlie Security whatsoever. Over what? I mean, the audacity that you're filing a lawsuit and someone got murdered on your watch because I accurately said that the Brian Harpool, the message he showed belonged to Dan Flood. It did. And that they didn't do a walkthrough on that day. They didn't. Like, and if something I'm getting wrong and you'd like to show me that actually you did, send it over. We're only interested in getting the truth, and we're not getting it. We're certainly not expecting to get it from Tim Pool. That is crazy. That's just crazy town. But I do think that is right now the Zionist strategy, and that's why I want to encourage you guys to stay focused. Huachuca, which we're going to have a lot.
Just to be clear as well, I'm not the biggest Tim Pool guy. I don't fucking enjoy his show. I don't even enjoy him that much. There's a couple positions he has I agree with, obviously, because we're both on the right, but in general, I don't find him to be the best character. And it's like, how do you trust somebody who dresses like shit all the time? I mean, again, not to be a dick, but it's like the guy wears a beat, like he was one of the first people to sit in the new press seat in the White House during the press briefings, and he still wore his fucking like jacket, zip up hoodie, and a beanie, and it's like, okay, you fucking bum. Like, what's going on here?
On tomorrow, because there is something there, and I think that caused a panic, as well as the Egyptian planes, which I am telling you go back relate to Israel, and I will be able to prove that tomorrow for all of the naysayers. And again, it's only because this is how they act. If they always overreact, and then it lets us know that we are close. They are like an alarm. They are just an alarm. Something else that I wanted to show you, by the way, I thought we were not supposed to be doing live streams while we were speaking, but Turning Point, I guess, has their daily show, but that I didn't feel like that was communicated to me. It felt like a ceasefire and then it got violated, but they had an interesting conversation on their show yesterday, on the Charlie Kirk show, about this trial, the upcoming trial about Tyler Robinson, and here is what they had to say. Take a listen.
So this is straight from the charging document. It says Robinson's mother explained that over the last year or so, Robinson had become more political and started to lean more to the left, becoming more pro-gay and trans rights oriented. She stated that Robinson began to date his roommate, a biological male who was transitioning genders. This resulted in several discussions with family members, but especially between Robinson and his father, who have very different political views. In one conversation before the shooting, Robinson mentioned that Charlie Kirk would be holding an event at UVU, which Robinson said was a, quote, stupid venue for the event. Robinson accused Kirk of spreading hate. And when you see how easy that rooftop access is, you start to kind of put one and one together, and you realize that Robinson had a plan that he was going to ultimately take advantage of. And he obviously knew how easy it was to get up to that rooftop, which is terrifying.
It really is. And look, one of the other things that's being pushed around for a long time is that, TPUSA, both the local chapter and you guys, didn't advertise this event till a couple days prior to. Now, the insinuation there is that doesn't give Tyler enough time to plan for this. And what we found out with a little bit of, 20, not even 5 minutes of Googling and looking, look, you guys had already put out on your website as early as August 27th. So we have at least almost a full 2 weeks prior to this, that not only the time of the event, but the location, the exact location of the UVU courtyard. So when you have over 10 days of planning, and it sounds like that Tyler already was familiar with the campus to begin with, like a lot of the mystery of this starts to go out the window, and it starts to really conform with what is exactly being proposed by the state of Utah and the FBI in the charging documents.
Yeah, and we can attest, Andrew Cipher, who's our head of field, Charlie sometimes throw the events out, 7-10 days in advance. If something opened up in his schedule, he would be able to do these outdoor events, a pretty quick turn. And so those whole that whole theory kind of goes out the window.
So, unless I am mistaken, and I am not perfect, but I do feel like we worked really hard to see when this location was first revealed. The first time that we found that the courtyard was mentioned, because Charlie's speaking at events, so your assumption would be they're inside, right? You have no idea where it is. So it's not like you can see whether you have a shot to the courtyard unless you know Charlie's speaking in the courtyard. The earliest that we found that was on September 2nd. The local media mentioned on KMYU that Charlie was speaking at UVU in the courtyard. Okay, that's the first time that we found this. If I am wrong, please tag me, because what he's referring to on August 27th that happened, which we have on our timeline as well, and this is why I love a timeline, is that TPUSA, UVU, and the local BYU chapter shared a graphic announcing that Charlie was coming to UVU, but there were absolutely no location details mentioned. So that actually does shred the idea that he could have practically gone and scaled rooftops before September 2nd. That's the first public mention, is September 2nd. So they announced the event on August 27th, as he says, no location details. And then on September 2nd, there are location details provided by local media for the first time. Prove me wrong, okay? Prove me wrong if I'm inaccurate, because I do think that we were thorough on that. I will update my timeline. If not, it does then beg the question, surely they must have footage after September 2nd of him testing the rooftop in some capacity to then realize, oh, it's going to be an outdoor event. This is an opportunity for me to go after him. We are waiting for that. And like I said, I was told that they don't have anything that the public doesn't have. So it's not obvious to me. I don't think it's obvious to the public. Now, I do want to get to Viva Frey, who had this to say regarding drones. Regarding the text messages from Tyler Robinson.
A lot has been made about these text exchange that have gone back.
Regarding drones, then what the fuck? What's that fucking switch up? Like, how she just has an earpiece in and the guy's correcting her. It's her assistant Skylar, which is kind of funny.
That went back and forth between Robinson and his lover, his trans furry gay lover, whatever.
That's also another question. It's like, where the fuck is Lance Twiggs? Lance Twiggs went missing in October, and no one knows where the fuck this person is.
And people say it doesn't sound right. Well, There is a video that I want everybody to check out by Turkey Tom. I believe you've watched it now, Viva, where, and this has been authenticated as somebody who was in the Discord chats with them and apparently spent time with them at this apartment. And he said 100% this is how they talked, which is a striking finding. We're going to go into that more probably tomorrow or the next day, depending on how today goes. But I mean, I get the skepticism on this. At first, it struck me too, but apparently this is how they talk, Viva.
That was not the most implausible thing to believe. Okay, so you have a text message. It does read, regardless of whether or not this is how they talk. People saying they were manufactured by or drafted by AI. To the extent that they're confirmed text messages, you can come to whatever conclusions you want after that. But whether or not this is how they talk regularly, to the extent that those were authentic text messages, they show what they show, which is whether or not his lover was aware of what was going on. You're etching bullets, and it's maybe not for target practice of a sporting nature. But like when I say I don't believe the official narrative, you have to go back to a number of things here. I put my sort of best theory as to what went down. I want to know who was on the Discord chat in advance, what they were discussing, and whether or not there might have been some other foreign, I say foreign, not foreign government, but outer influence there. Tyler Robinson is getting radicalized right about the same time as Thomas Crooks, right about the same time as the other guy, Ryan Ruth. He's being radicalized at a politically relevant period of time, right around the same time, oddly enough, as the alleged suspect in the January 6th pipe bomber. A time frame where political violence is potentially very useful for the upcoming election. So the time frame of the radicalization is very interesting. To see whether or not he was on anybody's radar beforehand, we don't yet know that, and why there would not be confirmation on that can lead to suspicion. You remember the old man, George Zinn, arrested for claiming to be the shooter the day of, and then gets busted for CP on his phone. Like, in my mind, if I'm making a plausible theory here, George Zinn was probably on some Discord chat with a bunch of young perverts, and he's an old pervert, and he's getting off doing whatever they do on those chats. He knows what's going down. He shows up there and thinks he's going to be some useful decoy or distraction for Tyler Robinson because they know what's going down. That's my theory. But it is the absence of total disclosure, the total lack of faith that anybody has, not just in the FBI per se, but in any state law enforcement. Nobody has any faith in our institutions anymore, and it leads people to go from a healthy skepticism to just not believing it to concocting the most outlandish conspiracy theories imaginable. But then those text messages, you can understand how they will cause people to come to those types of conclusions. And allegedly the rumors are Cash Patel getting mad at Tulsi Gabbard and Joe Kent for trying to look into a potential terrorist angle to this also does nothing to foment faith in the system.
Look, I think it's what he's saying there is perfectly valid, and we can all surmise about what we think happened that day. We can also ignore the fact that I broke the story that the nurses were told at Utah Valley, which treated George Zinn. Everyone's just ignoring the things that I broke. She has no evidence, but he told the nurses that he was paid to do that. So whatever, we can all theorize, which we're going to do in the absence of any concrete facts. But I will say it's good that Turning Point is at least giving that air. Right? I feel before, I think that might even be the first time Andrew Colvett has expressed that he thought that those messages were weird initially. That's good. That's what people want. They want fresh air at Turning Point USA. They want different perspectives. They want to feel like you're willing to have a conversation, and that at least you're going to defend people when they're being called liars when they're telling the truth about something. That would feel more authentic, I think. And so I am, just to say this, very happy that we are on much better feet and that we have opened the lines of communication. I do genuinely think that Justin Strife did a great job reffing that conversation yesterday. And I also do want to shout out Megyn Kelly, because this was what we were trying to make this happen in the background, really since Blake Neff fumbled the first invite. And thank you. That's in large part because of you guys at home that were like, what the F was that? And I think that they got enough flack that they were like, okay, we got to fix this. But I want to commend him for making that happen, for being the person that, kind of rolled up his sleeves and was like, okay, let's actually make a conversation happen and start answering some questions, which I think was done well. And Megyn Kelly, who was initially going to, when we were going to live stream the conversation before the Barry Weiss moment, Megyn Kelly offered to ref that conversation. I felt like she would have done a very good job. I do think that she has kept it very even. She's not been hysterical and it's demonic, it's evil, how dare Candace? And I appreciated that. She has said, I don't agree with Candace, but I also don't think that she's doing this because she's been possessed by a demon. I think she actually believes these things, and I do. And I have a right to believe those things. And I don't feel any differently about the people that I mentioned on the show that I think are shady at Turning Point USA. And with time, we'll see whether or not I was right. I think that's really what it comes down to. But all around, definitely a productive conversation. I know it's 4 hours, so more things will come to my mind as they become relevant. But I think that's a good pause for right now. We'll throw to some of our sponsors. All right, you guys. So
Come on. All right, we're skipping her ads again, guys. Skipping her ads. I was really hoping she would talk more about, her actually trying to involve Erika in the murder accusations. Seems like she's kind of brushed over that. And then also she's like, we'll give you more information tomorrow again. Kind of ridiculous.
Okay, couple of housekeeping items, you guys. If you want to make him a sandwich in time for Christmas, you can do that on Amazon. If you want a discount, you can buy it direct from us at makehimasandwich.com. You will actually get 20% off. And we also have some gifts. Obviously, we have a lot of fun merch going on. You better keep asking questions because it's the only thing that keeps us free. That is a direct quotation from Charlie Kirk, and that's why we're doing it. It does keep us free, and we're all sensing the squeeze. It's like they just want our speech. They want to purchase rational thinking. We can't allow that to happen. Okay, from this episode, Curbster writes, I am praying that our girl is playing the ultimate long game while staying true to her convictions and true toward all of us who have backed her and Charlie from the beginning. I am praying that God keeps you strong, righteous, and faithful in every step that you take. May God save America and protect us all. I want to say this to you guys just plainly. If I was going to sell out, it would have happened in the last 2 years, okay? Those offers were made. Those threats were made. I hope you have seen what I have gone through to keep myself, really. I was fighting to stay me, and it was hard. And that it made me really appreciate the fact that we do live in a matrix and every element is controlled. And that is why they are vicious right now with making up things about me and my family, because now that I chose freedom, they hate that I have freedom. They hate that there's no more threats to make, right? So they're just embarking on this fan fiction campaign. But especially for the people that I care about in life, right? Especially for people whose heads I have held up, who have held up my head through really hard times like Charlie did, that I would just sell out to like the highest bidder and go, okay, well, you know what, BB offered me a lot of money, so I'm going to stop talking about this, and I'm no longer going to explore this angle, or I'm going to, to repeat to you guys, it was definitely Tyler Robinson. It's just not in my character. I have always been the kind of person that knows that it's not worth living life that way. My whole spirit would be corrupted. I couldn't do it. I struggle with people that can do it. I struggle seeing people who have so obviously sold their souls on the internet. It's very frustrating to watch it. Central 848 writes, Candace, please look into the...
All right, we don't need to listen to all the fucking comments. All right, okay. That's been the review of the Candace video. Let me talk about it for a sec, then we'll go on to the Cash Patel and the new Brown suspect. Give me a second. Let me just get this off the screen. Here we go. Okay. So it's kind of what I expected. Candace didn't really go in on a lot of the things we thought she would. She was originally accusing a lot of specific people at Turning Point USA and even possibly implicating Erika Kirk. And it seems like she has kind of walked that back after this, which again, that is the right thing to do. I really don't love that she is still doing the and you'll find out tomorrow bullshit. That's, again, here's my overall message to Candace, an overall message about Candace and everything I've been saying about it recently. I support Candace's right to investigate this. I think someone should be investigating this besides the FBI. I think Candace has brought some credible points. I don't think Turning Point USA was necessarily involved. I don't think there's evidence to support that. The 30-06 bullet getting stuck in his neck, while that is crazy and very hard for a lot of people to believe, as somebody who is extremely experienced with firearms and has shot that caliber multiple times, I can tell you, bullets do weird things, and they do weird things all the time, constantly. Bullets fucking suck. Bullets they'll break apart. Bullets will do different things when they make impact with things. There's difference between full metal jackets and there's difference between hollow points. There's a lot of different things with bullets that a lot of average people do not know. And I do think it is possible that the bullet could have got stuck or could have got deflected in some way or something could have happened. And Murphy's Law says that's possible as well. But I do think overall, over everything, I don't have a problem with Candace doing her investigation. And to be honest, I really don't even have a problem with Candace accusing people even that I disagree with, in the investigation. I don't have a problem with her accusing people in Turning Point USA. I don't have a problem with her accusing fucking anybody, to be honest. My problem with Candace, and this has stayed consistent, and maybe I've given her extra criticisms here and there, but the bigger problem that I've brought up, and every time I've talked about this, and anyone can check this if they go back to my shows, is I keep saying, stop with the you'll find out tomorrow grift. Stop with that shit. If you know the information today, you have an obligation to report it today, not to bring it to tomorrow. That is the problem over everything else, and that's what she's consistently doing. It's grifting at a point. It's just looking for money, looking for extra views on your stream, looking for more popularity. That is the only reason to do that. There's no other reason to be like, and find out tomorrow, besides I want more people to view my show. That's the only fucking reason. You have an obligation as a journalist to be credible, to be truthful, to be honest, to be transparent. And if you are not doing those things, and if you're not doing that so you can get more viewers or money or boost your ego or whatever it is, that's a problem. And that's, again, over everything else, my biggest problem with Candace Owens during this investigation. It's not that she's investigating it. It's not necessarily that she's accused Turning Point USA and their employees. It's not that she's looking into the Israel or Egyptian or Macron's penis links or whatever the fuck. It's the fact that she continues to say, and you'll find out more tomorrow when she knows the information today. It's as simple as fucking that. And some people refuse to accept that answer. But that's really what it is. Again, I support her right to do all this. But at the same time, I do not support the way she's going about it. I think it's actually insane in some ways. But that's all we'll talk about with that. We'll see if anything more pops up overnight going into tomorrow, and then maybe we'll talk about it more tomorrow. I do want to talk a little bit about this Patel thing and the possible new suspect in the Brown shooting. Let's talk about the Brown shooting first. Let me get that pulled up on our big screen, actually, here. Give me one moment. Here we go. Let me move that for you guys so it's more in the window. Make that bigger. There we go. Nice. Nice. That's what we're looking for. Okay. Let's talk about this for a sec. So it starts here. Then there's a quote tweet. But actually, let's go to room. Let's start back where we're going to scroll back a bit to where this originally started. Because there's a lot of different updates. So I don't even know how to fucking pronounce this guy's name, but this is the guy they're saying possibly, and again, I'm saying very possibly, allegedly. We do not know if this person is the shooter. I don't want anyone to take this information and run. This is just the speculation going on right now. But there is growing suspicion that Mustafa Karbao, I don't know how to pronounce that, a third-generation Palestinian refugee studying international relations at Brown, is the perpetrator of the mass shooting at Brown on December 13th. A gate analysis conducted comparing a video of Karbao at a Palestine protest and surveillance footage published by the Providence Police Department shows a almost 98% correlation, 97.8. High confidence that the two individuals in both videos are the same. Gait analysis uses three-dimensional models to analyze and determine movement pathology, primarily in animals, but the same system has been used to identify and correlate human movement. Furthermore, all evidence that Karbao ever was at Brown University has been scrubbed, with his page on Brown University's official website now redirecting to a 404. His LinkedIn no longer displays Brown University in any way, and his X has been deactivated. And they want to clarify, Reum Navarrum is not positively identifying Karbao as the shooter at this time. And if I'm pronouncing this guy's name wrong, who gives a shit? I don't fucking speak whatever fucking bullshit-ass language that's in. But yeah, so this is what they're talking about with the gate match. I don't know a ton about this technology, so this could be credible, this could not. That's why, again, we're speculating. But gate analysis conducted on two videos. One video published by the Providence Police Department depicting the suspected shooter. The other video displaying Mustafa at a pro-Palestine protest. And then we go even further. It goes, his LinkedIn page previously showed him as a student at Brown University. Those connections are no longer exist on his LinkedIn profile. And then it goes even deeper. Brown University has scrubbed all evidence that Karbao was ever employed or recognized by the university, not as a student assistant, not as a board member, not as a student. So here's a page. If you use Wayback Machine, meet our student assistants, Mustafa Karbouch, whatever. And then it goes into his little bio there. And then now the page is a 404 page not found. And then we'll go, some more information on it. Mark Hallerpen, an American journalist who hosts a program on MK and formerly was the political director of ABC News, has stated on his show that the family of Ella Cook, one of the students killed at Brown University, was targeted by the shooter. Ella Cook, the 19-year-old sophomore who was killed at Brown University, was the vice president of Brown University's College Republicans chapter. Further unverified sources who were allegedly present in the room that the shooting took place say that the shooter repeatedly shot Cook and implied that Cook was clearly the target of the shooting. This is what I was hinting at yesterday. I said yesterday that there is a Massive chance that this was a targeted shooting and that they are targeting Republicans again, that this was a violent leftist who is targeting Republicans. And again, this is something we all need to be on the lookout for. And a lot of people are like, oh, this is a gun problem. It's like, no, there was no, it was a gun-free zone there, actually. If it wasn't a gun-free zone and people were allowed to conceal carry on campus, maybe one of the conservatives in the room would have been concealed carrying and been able to defend the room. But no. People want to make this a fucking gun issue because they're retards. Assuming there is a political motivation, it would check out that Mustafa is the shooter, given this far-left political and pro-Palestine activism, which is on the record. And then again, we're going to keep going. The Institute for Palestine Studies conducted an interview with Mustafa in 2024 on the campus encampment, as seen in this post. This article link attached to the post has been recently scrubbed. So again, there was an article scrubbed. So a lot of weird things are happening where this person had a very public profile. They had an X profile. They were mentioned on Brown's website. It was on their LinkedIn. There was an article written about them, and all that's been scrubbed off the internet. So again, very alleged. We don't know for sure that this person is the shooter, but it seems like it's very possible that this person was the terrorist who attacked. We will reiterate once again, we are not positively identifying Mustafa as the shooter until authorities confirm it. It is, however, highly suspicious that the university is going to great lengths to conceal and omit his existence. And that goes on. And most importantly, his politics. And then this is where, whoever found this, fucking props to you. I mean, the sleuths on the internet, holy shit. The FBI is incompetent as shit. Patel is doing podcasts with his alleged honeypot girlfriend, but the sleuths on the internet are still doing their fucking job. Thank you, guys. The FBI has positively identified that a 9mm firearm was used in the shooting at Brown University. Last year, Mustafa K gave a 5-star review to a Break Arms 9mm muzzle brake on Wing Tactical, an online firearms retailer. The same reviewer is verified buyer of the muzzle brake. You can see the muzzle brake right there, and then you can see his review right there. He gave it 5 stars, the best customer service ever, great price, and #1 products. And they create an archive page of it to prevent it from being deleted and scrubbed. Let's see. Let's see if there's any other updates on it. X account deactivated. This was interesting too. Rerum Novarum concludes that there are only 2 possible scenarios left. Mustafa is not the shooter, and Brown University is removing his digital footprint to protect him from being falsely identified by major news outlets, similar to what happened with the previous person of interest, who was later released. I mean, they kind of ruined that fucking guy's life. And then Mustafa is the shooter, and there has been a concerted effort to remove his political beliefs from the internet to prevent the attack from being framed as a politically motivated attack. We must repeat to our followers, we are not positively identifying the shooter. We are reporting on, analyzing, and posting existing evidence that is closely linked with the investigation. We ask that you do not attempt to stalk, dox, or harass the family or associates of him. And that's really important. I'm asking that as well. Let's see if they gave any other updates on this. Rerum gives updates on everything, so I really got to scroll through it. An MIT professor was shot and killed last night. Holy shit, that's sad. Rest in peace. Let's all pray for him. I mean, he's killed. Let's pray for his family and pray for him as well. The FBI has released a 5-minute timeline video of the person of interest. Okay, maybe we check this out in 1 second. Yeah, it doesn't seem like they gave any other information out. So let's check out this quick 5-minute video here. Let's see what it shows. Let's see if anything's there. Why is it a fucking black... Okay, there we go. Let's see if anything's here. Is there any audio to this? I don't think there's audio. And then after this, we will briefly talk about the Patel podcast. Fucking so embarrassing. I mean, absolutely insane. And then we will go on to our comments, and that will be the end of the show today. Hope everyone's enjoying the show. Let's put this in fucking... If there's no audio, I mean, let's go 1.5 speed. Is this just going to be a video of him walking for 5 minutes with no fucking audio at all? Kind of insane. He's a little chunky. He's doing a little jog there. Is it just me or did we already see this clip? Maybe not. Maybe I'm just retarded. Alright, there's one more minute left in this video, and then we'll go on to the Cash Patel. I mean, we're already pretty much done with it. I was like, why are we still watching this at this point? But let's just finish it. Why not? I love how all the liberal influencers, though, like Harry Sisson and the Krasenstein brothers and a bunch of other fucking lib retards were posting. They were like, and guess what? It was a white guy who shot up the school. It wasn't a transgender. It wasn't an immigrant. It wasn't someone of color. It was a white guy. It was a white straight male. And then they say, oh, we got the wrong guy. They release him. And then we find out, no, it was an immigrant. It was not a straight white male. The lib retards hate, they're just self-hating white people. I mean, that's all they are. They're self-hating white people. It's so fucking obvious. And you guys know my opinion on self-hating white people. They're the fucking worst. People who hate themselves because they're fucking white and hate white people, even though they're white, like, fuck them. They're so fucking annoying. Alright, let's see. Let me get this Cash Patel video up. We'll talk about that for a second.
Yes.
Alright, here we go. So, it has been 59 hours since the Brown University mass shooting, and there is still no suspect in custody. Meanwhile, FBI Director Cash Patel is appearing on a podcast with his wife, Alexis Wilkins. Actually, let's clarify, not his wife, his girlfriend. It's not even his wife.
We are so excited to be joined by Cash and his beautiful girlfriend, Alexis. So I just want to clarify, you're not Jewish.
I'm not.
You are not from Israel.
No.
So how did we get to,
See, that's exactly what a honeypot would say.
are you a Mossad agent?
You know, that's a great question.
Where's her ring?
She is. Allegedly. I'm not trying to get fucking sued like Elijah. Allegedly.
Just to clarify, how often has he traveled to see you since January 20th? Has there been one moment where you're like, you can't make this up?
So that's all there is there. Again, I just wanted to show that during the massive investigation, during the manhunt for this individual who was able to get away, Cash Patel decides to sit down with his alleged honeypot girlfriend for a podcast. That's how seriously our FBI is taking our safety right now. Republicans are being targeted because they're Republicans, because they're leaning right, and our FBI does not give a shit. What's the point of having a trifecta if nothing's gonna fucking change? What was the point of Trump designating the dangerous leftists and Antifa domestic terrorists if he's not gonna do anything about it? Was it for another popcorn headline and for show? Because that's what it seems like. We're not being protected. Our president doesn't give a shit about our safety. The FBI obviously has their heads up their own asses. What the fuck is going on here? Cash Patel needs to resign in disgrace. His cunt of a girlfriend needs to leave the media because nobody fucking likes her. She's suing people over using the right to free speech. I literally have to say allegedly that she's a honeypot, and I can't just directly call her it because this cunt will sue me. Fuck you, Alexis Wilkins. Fuck you, Cash Patel. You guys are trash. Again, Cash, resign in disgrace. You are awful. You are awful at your job. Every fucking thing you've handled, you have fucked up so far. Every fucking thing you have handled has been fucked up. There has not been a single thing that has gone down under your watch that has gone well. I dare my viewers to challenge me on that. Name one thing he did right. Name one thing he's done right since January 20th. I can't name one. I cannot name one. He oversaw the burial of the Epstein files. He possibly fucked up the Charlie Kirk investigation. He fucked up this investigation. He does not know shit. He is taking private jets. He is using taxpayer dollars on private jets to go to his girlfriend's wrestling matches and concerts. He's sitting down on a podcast in the middle of a manhunt. How are we supposed to take this fucking guy seriously? How are we supposed to take a single word he says seriously when he is just disrespecting the American taxpayer and the American people? Fuck this guy. This guy's awful. I had a couple other just like little fun things I wanted to show you guys before the end of the show. Let me see if I can get them pulled up really quick. I don't even know if we'll go through it. I mean, most of it was fucking stupid, but let's see. Is it even worth talking about? Yeah, let's show this quick video. This was a video of Nick Fuentes and Sneeko, posted by Fuentes Updates from Nick's trip to New York City this weekend, where they went to the Young Republicans Club, and the board members threatened to resign if Nick Fuentes was allowed to speak, and he was given a speaking slot. So it's absolutely crazy. Who really runs everything if they don't let Nick Fuentes speak? You know, like, they want to say, no, we don't run the media. That's anti-Semitic to say we run the media and we control all these things. And then they threaten to pull their money if you let somebody use the right to free speech. Crazy.
Ever see you? Good to see you. Good to see you.
Alright, I'm inside.
Oh, you are? Okay. Hey, Nick, I'm right in front of Delmonico's. We are meeting Nick Fuentes for dinner.
At Delmonica. Ooh, that's fancy.
Leaving that Republican ball right now. It was a lot of fun, but unfortunately, Nick said if he was going to show up, that half the board threatened to resign. Just his presence there was going to destroy the New York Republican Youth Club, unfortunately. So we're going to meet him for dinner now. I'm leaving early. Oh, he's calling me.
What'd you think? I watched your stream.
Oh, you were?
On party, yeah.
How was the party experience?
It was good. It's gotten a lot better.
Let's go.
And I wasn't paid to say that, but it's come a long way.
This is perfect to film, actually.
Yeah, totally.
This is the perfect table. You know what the music sounds like? You know the meme where you're at a date and just yelling about, you know what I'm talking about, where they Photoshop you at the dinner table?
Oh, yeah.
This is what this music sounds like.
POV.
Women need to shut the fuck up. Blacks need to be imprisoned for the most part. And we would live in paradise.
Have you been here before? Is this a good place?
Yeah, I come here a lot. Ever see?
It's crazy that they threatened to pull it. That's a good little video by Sneeko. Let's see. I had like a couple other things in here. Let's see. What's worth showing here? I don't know. I thought this was like a little funny, but it's stupid. It's not really anything important, but it's just a funny video.
So today we have top things men don't care about. Because women today have seemed to have gotten this confused. So let's get into it. Also, these are in no particular order. Number one, materialistic belongings. We don't give a fuck about your Birkin, or your Gucci bag, or your fucking sandals, or your dress. None of that. We don't care. Doesn't make you any more attractive, or really any less attractive. Number two, how much money you make. That has no bearing on your attractiveness to any man. Unless they're a bum. Because why would we care how much money you make if it ain't being used on us? 3, your career. Now, if you're passionate about something, that's great. You know, it'd be great to not talk to a woman that's a fucking complete bum, but it does not make you any more attractive. Just because you got a doctorate and a fucking master's degree. No guy ever said, holy shit, dude. She's got a master's degree. That's hot as fuck. No guy ever said that, ever. And last but not least, your lashes, lips, and nails. You do this for other women. Never once have I heard a guy say, holy shit, dude. Like, she's pretty hot, but she'd be a lot hotter if her lips were ginormous. She'd be a lot hotter if her nails were painted pink instead of blue. She'd be a lot hotter if her eyelashes extended 15 feet off her face. No guy ever said that. Okay? So get it through your head that we don't give a fuck about any of these things. Stay tuned for the top things that guys do care about.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that would be fun to show for some of the delusional women who are out there. Let's check the timeline, see if there's anything interesting on the timeline. Of course, like, again, if this guy's the shooter and this is, what the fuck? Like, this is crazy. Krasenstein. Dude, fuck this guy. Fuck Krasenstein. Oh my. Tim Pool, Candace is backtracking. Sorry, Zionist. I still support Candace Owens. Okay, sick. Okay, here's an update. Brown University. In the aftermath of the shooting, we've seen harmful doxing activity directed toward at least one member of the Brown community. It's important to make clear that targeting individuals could do irrevocable harm. Accusations, speculation, and conspiracies we're seeing on social media and in some news reports are irresponsible, harmful, and in some cases dangerous for the safety of individuals in our community. It is not unusual as a safety measure to take steps to protect an individual's safety when this kind of activity happens, including in regard to their online presence, as law enforcement officials stated clearly on Tuesday afternoon. If this individual's name had any relevance to the current investigation, they would be actively looking for this individual and providing information publicly. So maybe it's not the person, but it possibly is. Fucking Laura Loomers. Are me and Laura Loomer on the same page for once? Holy shit. I'm not saying that the Brown University shooting is Mustafa. However, I found this page on a YouTube account that belongs to a man named Mustafa with the same spelling. This YouTube channel is full of Islamic videos and Islamic playlists and videos that teach how to build bombs. In the video below, notice know how he holds his hands behind his back in the surveillance video released by Providence, Rhode Island police yesterday. This is common in Middle East culture. Yeah, it's not really anything. Let's see if there's anything else. Alright, what the fuck? Let's see this. Quick video update from the police.
The building, and that's all we had. So the video that we showed you came from inside the building, and that's all we had at the moment. That's all we have at this moment. Correct.
Inside the building, though?
I'm sorry?
It's from the outside of the building.
From the
I'm sorry.
outside, so do you have video from
Yes.
inside the engineering
Both
building?
inside and outside. I'm sorry, just outside. That's all we have, not inside. I'm sorry. So
they don't have any video. Like, what the fuck? The school has $8 billion in their savings, but they don't have the ability to get some fucking cameras inside. Alright, let's see if there's anything else of relevance to talk about on the timeline. It's all just repeated bullshit. Netanyahu says America wouldn't exist without the Jews. Okay, buddy. Okay, buddy. Alright, that's gonna be the entire show. That's gonna be it. We're gonna go over to our comments. Let's get our comments pulled up. I want to remind everyone to like, smash the follow button, leave a comment, let me know what you think about the show. Thank you guys for tuning into the show. Thank you guys for enjoying the show. I want to remind everyone to rate the show 5 stars on Spotify. Leave a comment, let me know what you think about it, and we always read the comments at the end of each show. Okay, let's start with the We had a couple of people in our live chat. One person just put a Groiper emoji. Yeah, let's go. Groiper's on top. Someone said, this guy fucks. Nice. And someone did... What is that? A fucking, like, teddy bear? I don't even want to say what's going on there. That looks fucking freaky. All right. Let's go over to our other comments. So, thank you guys in the live chat.
This would be a lot better if you didn't talk.
Great. It's my fucking show, you retard. It'd be a lot better if you just shut the fuck up. How about that?
You're not allowed to attack someone for knocking on your door. Are you retarded? Why do you keep saying defend yourself? He attacked first. She could have shot him in the face after he pepper sprayed her and pushed her and she would be in the clear. Knocking on someone's door is not attacking, you idiot. She won, Nick lost, now he looks like a retard. You're such a cuck for Nick. You can't think differently from how he tells you to think.
I actually have a couple different opinions than Nick. You're retarded. Second of all, yes, if someone is harassing you on your doorstep, you do have a right to defend your property. Especially if they're trying to video you on your own property. You clearly just don't know the fucking law and you're just retarded, so shut the fuck up.
Your clips need volume. I can't ever hear any.
Well, yesterday I don't think I played any clips with volume, so you probably were able to hear today if you watch.
Wow, that's frickin' wild about celebrating the culling of whites in the USA. Well, all I gotta say is, come and get me then, skull and crossbones.
Yeah, they really want to take out whites. It's fucked up, but we're here, baby. You're not taking us down. By hell or high water, we're here.
I bet it's a psyop. I do not believe a kid with no aggression shown before just pops up and shoots at Jews.
I do think a lot of it's odd. I think the fact that they immediately said it was Iran, the fact that they sent ISIS, or that they sent Mossad there, I think a lot of that's odd. I think the fact that this guy was on their radar since 2019 and they allowed this to happen is crazy. I think the fact that it was like a 5-minute walk to the police station and there was 4 police officers there who didn't do shit, and then the guy was able to go for like 20 minutes without it being stopped, I think that's odd as well. A lot of weird things that happened. So maybe we're going to keep looking into it.
Jumping on the Candace bashing isn't going to go well for you. She's exploring leads. She's not saying that everyone is going to be the smoking gun dude. Paint her as an idiot though, go right ahead.
Again, I've clarified that multiple times today. It's the fact that she drip feeds information that I have a problem with more than anything. And I say that every time, but the Candace fans are sometimes too retarded to understand that.
Hey James, how do I red pill my 6-year-old?
So start with no. No. Pinheads and no. Just let him grow up, dude. Show him SpongeBob. I don't know what to fucking tell you. Like, I know that's just bait. I know that's bait. Then someone replied, but they drifted off into a new conversation.
What I was saying in the comment thread was that with a tracker on the gun, authorities should be alerted every time someone who is not in law force is near a school zone with a gun, and schools should have way more security measures.
Schools should have more security measures. Well, to give backstory of what this person's arguing, this person is arguing that every gun should have a tracker on it. And I kept telling this person that they're retarded for that. And I was like, I would never allow the government to put a tracker on my guns.
I understand what you're saying, but there are many pros to what I'm saying. A tracker could help trace stolen guns. Criminals would avoid using traceable guns. It could lead to faster investigations. And it would be harder to sell guns illegally if they are teachable. I understand that this is controversial because it could violate the Second and Fourth Amendments. But in theory, it could help bring the death toll down from mass shootings every year.
Not really. No, you're just retarded. This person's a kid. They don't understand these things.
But I also agree. Passing mental health tests should be mandatory to own guns.
Not even passing mental health tests. It's just addressing the mental health issues in the country and stop over-medicating people with SSRIs.
But I understand what you're saying now about ARs being banned. They were banned in the 90s and the 2000s for a bit, and I realize banning them again would give way more power to the government. Thank you for educating me regarding this subject.
Yeah, I'll continue to educate you. You're just a kid.
Imagine a 6-year-old putting a suit and saying the thing James says.
Yeah, dude, that was bait. Christian is so bad at understanding when someone's kidding and when someone's not. It's crazy.
I listen to you to know what the news is. I listen to you to know what I should think about the news. I'm a high schooler.
Well, use your own, like, I hope you have critical thinking skills. I hope, and you're developing them. You're still growing up. You're a high schooler. But, you know, you don't have to just take what I say and be like, this guy's 100% accurate. Like, formulate your own opinions. I mean, there are some things that are just facts, and there are some things I say that's speculation or opinion. Formulate your own opinions. But I'm glad you tune into the show for news. It's awesome. I always try and be trustworthy. I always try and give an accurate representation of what's going on and a fairly non-biased interpretation. Not non-biased, but I'm definitely biased on my side. But I try and not be too biased about anything.
That's weird that you have absolutely nothing bad to say about Erika. The fact that she's running around going on podcast interview shows and tour shows zero remorse. No, there's something wrong with that. She forgave Tyler Robertson in 2 minutes.
Yeah, again, I think that was more for show. And again, I think she's just she's like an extremely devout Catholic. She goes to daily masses, so that's not crazy. Like, if you know devout Catholics, some of them would do that. And I've said plenty of bad things about Erika. I think she's fair game for criticism. She is the CEO of a major political organization.
You're a retard face with tears of joy, drooling face, drooling face, drooling face.
Great.
Hey dumbass, Candace is saying Tyler Robinson is involved. Not innocent. You're a Nick Fuentes simp.
Well, what about when she literally said that she doesn't think he was involved? How about that? Fuck off. I'm right, you're not. That's the reason I have the show and you're just a retard.
Funny how that exactly same what is said about Nick, plus y'all missed some words in her pod. Yeah, weren't listening. Typical mansplaining and understanding as always, I guess.
Mansplaining? Go make your husband a sandwich. Shut the fuck up, bitch.
Weird how all podcasters were saying slow news week, then the weekend gives plenty of topics. Look over here, not over there.
Yeah, I mean, it's always slow between Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's nothing new. And terrorist attacks are always more likely around the holidays. So, I mean, maybe there's something there, but I don't think. I think it's more just coincidence. Thanks for the input, though.
James the First, really hope you're okay regarding your illness. I'm not highly concerned about the illness since they come and go, but I do remember you had it for a while now. Please go see a doctor. And sending good vibes.
I'm feeling a little better today. I have a little bit of a stuffy nose still, but I'm feeling better today. I'm not going to go see a doctor. 2 reasons. One, I mean, unless I'm fucking dying, I'm not going to the doctor. And then 2, I also don't have health insurance, so it just seems like a waste of money. I don't make enough money to buy health insurance. For all the people who are like, you're getting 7K checks, you're a Fed. It's like, dude, if I was a Fed, I'd have health insurance. I would have health insurance. I am poor. I am poor as shit. I don't have health insurance. I don't have shit. Oh, these people are retarded sometimes.
I think the biggest thing to realize is that at the base level this is a spiritual battle, and that the devil is trying to destroy man's faith in Jesus, and that everyone's is going after white males because they are mainly Christian. That's why. He's trying his best to steal, corrupt, and destroy the white race because it's the Catholic, Jesus-loving race.
Yeah, fair point. I do think a lot of this is a big spiritual battle. I think a lot of it is not really Republicans versus Democrats. I think a lot of it's good versus evil.
Obviously there are exceptions. Not all whites love Jesus, and anyone from any race can love Jesus.
Yeah, I think we got that. You don't have to specify, but thanks for the input. People always do that where they hyper specify. You don't need to do that. I understand generalizations. I'm not retarded. But I get why you do it. The average IQ of people in America is 100. A lot of people are retarded in this country.
Let's all pray for the victims of these attacks. Violence can't be the answer to whatever problems we may have as human beings. This is tragic and disgusting. Love and peace to the victims and the families.
Yeah.
We should either ban ARs and allow only pistols, or put trackers on all pew-pews to ensure that the original pew-pew owner doesn't sell them in a black market, to prevent these things from happening. And pew-pew owners should have to take mental tests every 6 months, and must have a license to carry. It's required in most states except for Minnesota, I believe.
No, it's also not required in my state either. But again, first, I'll address multiple things in your point. This is the person who was arguing in the other thread. They argue in this thread and like 2 other threads that we're going to listen to about this shit. First of all, stop calling it a pew-pew. We're not kids, and this isn't TikTok. This is the real world. You could say gun. You could say firearm. You don't have to say pew-pew. Stop being gay. Second thing, no, banning AR-15s is bad. We should actually go reverse. We should be able to have automatics again, and we should have bump stocks back. Third, I would never allow them to put a tracker on my firearms ever, and no right-minded American ever would do that. And people would figure out a way around that, so that's retarded. Mental tests every 6 months, that's retarded. Yeah, no, I think all that's retarded, actually. I don't think there's a single intelligent thing you said in that post. Sorry to be a dick. I know you're a kid, but still.
I understand that the initial purpose of the Second Amendment is for people to protect themselves, and I'm not saying that we should get rid of that. I'm saying that we should have more restrictions on what types of guns we use and other gun regulations so that we can decrease the gun violence in the USA. Also, just because I'm a kid doesn't mean I don't understand.
Yeah, it kind of does. It's not just for self-defense. It's to protect yourself against a tyrannical government. The government can kill you with a drone, and you want us to just have pistols?
Roughly 70% of pew-pews used in crimes that were able to be traced have been traced back to a licensed pew-pew dealer. That's why I'm saying we need more pew-pew regulations. Obviously, people should be allowed to keep pistols in their homes for protection, but that's it.
You're retarded. You're absolutely retarded.
I've done some more research on the Second Amendment, and I found out that it was created to both form a well-regulated militia against the federal government, and to protect the natural right to self-defense. So both of us were right. We could put trackers on guns so that, provided during a non-war time, if people take guns outside of their house for anything other than defense of themselves or someone else, the authorities would be alerted, and less mass shootings would occur.
Or you could just put more authorities in schools, and that would fix that problem. That's retarded. Second thing is, you say it not more times. Okay, but then what happens when there is a war? What happens when we do have to overthrow the government? Or if that, again, I pray that never happens. But say that did happen. What happens then when they have trackers on everybody? And they control it. Your entire logic's flawed. It's fucking stupid. And it's like, you put a tracker on a gun. I carry a gun with me everywhere I go. Everywhere I go in Florida. So, they're just going to know where I am at all times? Yeah, no. Go fuck yourself. Sorry.
Yesterday was a sad day. Rob Reiner was also murdered.
I know. I talked about that on the show.
I'm actually very pleased with this episode. You handled amazingly.
Thank you.
This has the episode I have enjoyed the most. I died laughing when you read the comments of that guy and you arguing.
Yeah, he was a fucktard.
Bro sounded like Batman.
Yeah, he was a fucking idiot.
James, I hope that you get better soon.
Thank you.
I also support interracial marriage, mainly because I am mixed race, and people should be able to marry who they want to marry.
Yeah, I don't think it should be illegal, but I responded in the comments and said, yeah, but if people want their grandkids and kids to look like them, then they need to marry within their own race, and it's as simple as that. And that's my personal preference. And they said...
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think it should be illegal, but I don't think it should be encouraged either. I think more problems come out of that than good things, possibly.
What motivated you to start podcasting?
Delusional leftists mainly, and I love America. Originally, I actually wanted to run for House, and then I realized that you need like millions of dollars to do that. I was ignorant to that going into that. I actually got all the signatures to get my name on the ballot, and then I realized the amount of money it takes, and I was like, yeah, I don't have that. I'm actually in debt, so no, we're not going to do that now.
Spotify only let me reply to your comment a few times, so I'm going to finish with what I was saying regarding undocumented immigration. I think there is a gray area to it because undocumented immigrants do pay taxes with an IDN. They also work jobs that Americans don't want to work, like construction, retail, hospitality. There are millions of job openings in these positions right now, but they can't find Americans who want these jobs. So I used to be fully anti-undocumented immigration.
Well, you still should be. If those companies paid real American wages, then they would actually take those jobs. And I said that, and then the person was... I'll play the response. They wrote one more thing before that, but it's like, it's bullshit. These people pay immigrants and illegal immigrants less because they're able to, not because they're legally able to, but because they'll take it. Americans won't take that low pay. for that level of work. And if they just paid what they're deserved, then Americans would take those jobs, no questions. And you fail to see that.
My opinions on immigration and President Trump were changed by influences like Dean Withers and Parker Jettajob.
Yeah, I mean, they're the most retarded, disingenuous debaters out there, so I wouldn't listen to those freaks.
Also, another of my conservative values that I have, which shouldn't be conservative, is that I know what a woman is. And no, it's not someone who identifies as a woman, it's an adult human female.
Wow,
that's how simple it is to define. If an American were to get one of those jobs, they would be legally entitled to minimum wage. And again, I said that most of the jobs have hundreds of thousands of job openings. So employers will take anyone even if they have to pay them the legal amount. But most Americans don't want to work those horrible jobs in those horrible conditions. What you're saying doesn't really make any sense to me.
Dude, that's crazy. Americans work some of the craziest jobs there is, but they do it when they're paid well. And again, if you're talking about from like a legal aspect, like the minimum wage. No, that's not what I'm talking about. They pay these immigrants like next to minimum wage, sometimes even less. If they paid real American wages, and by that I don't mean minimum wage, I mean a real livable American wage, something that you can get a house and a family from, then people would take the jobs. But you fail to see that.
You should debate Chelsea Gods, this commie bitch who mocked Erika Kirk's address to the nation a few days after he died. Joshua Hames apparently DM'd her and insulted her, and she just posted the interaction. Really proud I criticized her. She told me, Charlie would have hated me because I'm Hispanic.
Yeah, he wouldn't have. Charlie didn't hate anybody. Charlie would have debated the guy who killed him. Literally, Charlie would have debated the guy who killed him. That's the best argument against that. I'll reach out. I'll see if I can debate her. I'll debate anybody.
Personally, I'm more worried about some of the groypers, not saying all of them are like that, but I've seen a lot of, like, for example, the Templar guy I know is just joking, but still you never really know.
Dude, groypers are a Catholic movement. Templar's not even a groyper. Templar doesn't like Nick.
They may be non-violent, but they are bullies, and I want to protect my family from anyone like that.
What, do bullies scare you?
Also, no offense or anything.
You don't have to say no offense to me. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't get offended by shit like that. Oh my lord.
Rate the show 5 stars and follow if you enjoy America First always.
Yeah, rate the show 5 stars. Thanks.
Do you think it would be fair to ban ARs and keep pistols?
No, I think we need more access, actually.
Genuinely, the main reason why I watch your show is your reaction to comment section. There is so much rage bait, lol.
Yep, way too much. And sometimes I think you're rage baiting me with this pistol fucking thing.
Also, to answer Christian Fletch's question from yesterday, I'm mostly socially conservative with issues like abortion, government overreach, upholding the law, but I also liberal values like allowing same-sex marriage, because it's not really big deal to me as it doesn't affect me much. And I used to be fully anti-undocumented immigration, but then I realized there are some gray areas to it.
It's not really any gray areas to it. It's illegal. And on your same sex, you can respond to this in the comments. Do you think that they should be able to adopt children?
I'm conservative, but I've felt very disillusioned recently.
Just be America first. You're an American, put America over everything else. It's as simple as that. Fuck the Republicans, fuck the Democrats, America first.
But I have somewhat moderate traditionalist views.
Nationalist is the way to go. America first.
Also, I'm support interracial marriage, but also think there should always be people who marry with their own group. That's what I've always believed. I'm actually Puerto Rican American, said that to a white liberal chick, and she reacted by saying, well, actually the white race is going to disappear by 2050, and I was like grimacing face Jesus. And then people wonder, so many young white boys are drawn to white identity. This girl was acting like it would be good thing if the white race disap.
Yeah, a lot of them are like that.
I'm also not saying most liberal think like that, because also have several liberal friends who agree with me on cultural preservation.
Most of the liberals I don't know, or most of the liberals I know don't think that.
I'd rather hot Trump than our Starmer in UK.
Fuck the UK. No, not fuck the UK, but UK's going to shit. Let's see if there's any more comments that came up. Let me refresh it. That was all of them so far. Someone put an Instagram link. They go, there's irrefutable proof that Nick Fuentes is a shill. Let's see what their proof is. Irrefutable proof. Let's see if I can refute it. Let's put the video on the main screen. It's a wang half. This is a video of a wang half. What? What is this proof of other than he's a wang half? What? A white boy can't have motion? A what? God forbid a white guy. God forbid a white boy have a good time in the car, right? I mean, what the fuck? Like, why is that proof he's a shill? God forbid a white guy jam and dance in his car. Like, what the fuck does that mean? I fucking sit in my car. I don't sit in my car in like a parking lot, but like I'll sit in my car driving, listen to music, fucking going hard as shit. We're wang halves. We're white boy. Again, this is white boy winter. White boy summers next summer. This is the era of the white boy. White men are back. I mean, just look at like sports. All the best NBA players are these Eastern European white guys. We have the Eagles. You got Reed Blankenship and Cooper DeJean, two white boys. Pick 6 in the Super Bowl from a white boy. White boys are back. It is white boy winter. It is white boys all 2026, baby. We're back. I mean, maybe you're just kidding there. I don't know. Because this here is irrefutable proof that Nick Fuentes is a shill, and it's a video of him just fucking hitting a little like Trump dance in his car. Like, dude, he's having a good time. We're wang halves. We're having a good time. All right, let's see if any more comments came in while I was reading those. No, that's it there. I think we might have had one on YouTube. I'm not 100% sure. Let me go check. My dog just started crying. I don't know if you guys could hear it. I don't know if you could hear it in the background. My dog just started crying. I don't know what she's crying at. She's just kind of laying there. She's not even looking at me. She's crying. She might be sleeping and having like a bad dream or something, so we'll see.
Hey, I was the guy that messaged you on Insta. The backstory on the younger one was that he was born a Christian, and when his parents split up he joined his father in becoming a Muslim, and former co-workers said he was very weird and held extremely strong views. He also has very close ties to a local Islamist extremist group. Note on the police response: whether it's a good excuse or not, it's just the police aren't expecting this in a million years to happen. They have trained for it but aren't expecting it. Just a really unfortunate situation. Keep up the good work, James. God bless.
This guy's over that's where he lives. He lived 5 minutes from the Bondi shooting, and I'm glad you're safe. Yeah, the police thing's still really weird to me. I'll look into the other stuff. I think the police thing's still really weird to me. But that's been the entire show. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. We haven't done a live show in a while. I'm glad to have done a live show. We haven't done it in a while. It felt good. We'll be doing more live shows. I'll bring it back. But with that, we're going to sign off today. I want to remind everyone to like, smash the follow button, leave a comment, let me know what you think about the show. Thank you guys for tuning into the show. Rate the show 5 stars on Spotify. Leave a comment. Again, we'll read them all. It's a fun time. Join the Telegram channel. Stay updated on all things America Unfiltered and America First. With that, we are going to sign off today. I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope you guys do have a blessed day. We will pick this back up on Wednesday. Thank you.